The student cafeteria of Tian Shui University. It was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the students had finished their meals and went to class. Tang Tian put down the last washed plate in his hand and muttered to himself, "Finally finished washing. It seems that I will be late for class today, but the first class is not the instructor's class, so there is nothing to worry about." Tang Tian, an orphan since he was a child, grew up in an orphanage. After he was admitted to university, he worked part-time while studying for himself. Now he is doing chores in the dining hall of Tian Shui University. Humble humans, you can call me a god, or you can call me a demon. You are always complaining about the unfairness of heaven. Then I will give you a fair chance. From now on, your ordinary life will be gone. Exist, I will turn your earth into a game field for my gods and monsters. Take up the weapons in your hands and fight and fight. Only in this way can you become stronger and survive. Use your despair to please me, now play countdown 10. A voice suddenly broke into Tang Tian's mind. Hearing this voice, Tang Tian suddenly felt that the whole world had stopped. 9. 1. Now, the game starts. The voice ended, and the world returned to its original state again, but it was different again. But Tang Tian couldn't tell what was different. What's the matter? Which guy is joking? Tang Tian thought suspiciously. Despite thinking this way, Tang Tian felt a faint anxiety. What is this? Tang Tian looked at a stick that he didn't know when it appeared in his hand. It was 1 meter long and thick as a rolling pin. He didn't know what kind of wood it was. It felt a little heavy, about 4 or 5 kilograms. Rough wooden stick, novice weapon, attack 03, reminder, this is a weapon given by the system as a novice, you must hold it well, otherwise you will not be able to survive. Name, Tang Tian level, 0 occupation, none title, none strength, 8/10 constitution, 9/10 spirit, 9/10 agility, 7/10 skill, none pet, none. Just when Tang Tian was observing the muhun in his hands, a transparent panel suddenly appeared in his mind, displaying the above information. What's going on? It's not like a prank. Tang Tian instinctively felt that things were unusual. Before he could take off his dirty clothes, Tang Tian carried the wooden stick in his hand and rushed out of the back kitchen of the canteen to the hall where the students usually eat. Help! Tang Tian heard a harsh scream as soon as he entered the hall. Looked in the direction of screaming, and Tang Tian suddenly saw a scene that he would never forget. I saw a girl in a grey shirt surrounded by 2 or 3 boys. At first, Tang Tian thought that these boys were going to insult the girl and wanted to go up and help, but then Tang Tian stopped his steps immediately. Because he saw that the boys surrounded the girl and kept biting on the girl. After a few moments, the girl was dripping with blood. Large chunks of meat were torn off from the girl and she was quickly bitten. She swallowed it into her belly, and the girl stopped struggling and she was silent. After the girl was silent, the boys let him go and started wandering aimlessly. From Tang Tian's perspective, you can just see the faces of the boys, their skin is grey, their eyes are empty and lacking, and their actions are slow. Is this making a horror movie? Tang Tian muttered to himself in fear. Such a scene completely subverted his previous cognition. A living person was killed just like that, and he appeared in front of his eyes. He suddenly felt cold all over, like a nightmare. Kaka kaka. Just when Tang Tian was at a loss, the girl who was killed on the ground just now stood up slowly, her body stiff and slow. God, is this Resident Evil? That is clearly a zombie. Seeing such a scene, Tang Tian's creeps suddenly turned and ran. I didn't expect at all that the scenes that were only seen in movies once appeared in reality. Wow, Tang Tian slammed into a table beside him in a hurry. As if hearing the movement made by Tang Tian, several zombies suddenly turned and chased Tang Tian. Bang! Tang Tian quickly ran back to the back kitchen of the canteen, because only there was relatively safer. After closing the door firmly, Tang Tian was slightly relieved. By the way, Call Zhou Jun and ask how they are. Zhou Jun is Tang Tian's roommate. Both of them are in a bad family, so they get along well. However, both of them are busy earning living expenses and tuition, and they don't spend much time together. It can only be regarded as a better relationship than ordinary people. Toot toot, the call was quickly connected. Hello, is Zhou Jun? Where are you? How is it now? Tang Tian? I'm in the dormitory. Oh my god, what's wrong with the world? How come all trademark has become a monster? You pay attention to safety, they are here. Slap. The phone was hung up. Hey hey hey. Tang Tian called several times without getting an answer, so he put the phone away and sat down weakly against the door of the back kitchen. It has changed, the whole world has changed, what the is going on? Tang Tian muttered to himself. Bang bang bang. At this moment, the door behind Tang Tian began to vibrate violently. Oh, it's a zombie. Tang Tian immediately stood up and looked at the not very thick wooden door of the back kitchen in horror. Snap! A big hole was shot in the wooden door suddenly. A zombie's head stuck out from the hole. A lot of strength. Tang Tian suddenly took a breath. Although the wooden door is not very thick, it takes a few shots to make a hole. How much strength is needed? At least it is difficult for ordinary people to do it. After the zombie's head stretched in, he watched Tang Tian open his mouth and kept roaring. There was also a knock on the door. Zombies, because when the gods and demons transform the earth, human beings cannot withstand the transformation of the gods and demons. They have become a low-level monster without thinking. They can only hunt humans instinctively. Please destroy them as soon as possible, because they can also keep going. Evolve, but don't be scratched by them, because then you will also be infected as a zombie. Looking at the heads of the zombies in front, a mysterious voice appeared in Tang Tian's mind again. Do you want to destroy them? Tang Tian murmured. Immediately, his eyes were cold, and a stride rushed up, raising the wooden stick in his hand and smashing it on the zombie's head. Because Tang Tian is an orphan, he has fought countless fights since he was a child, and he has overcome his initial fear. These zombies are no big deal except for their scary appearance, and their actions are slower than ordinary people, and they are not impossible to eliminate. Happiness. The wooden stick in his hand kept beating on the zombie's head. Because Tang Tian made his best effort, the zombie's head was beaten to pieces within a few times, and it slowly tilted to the side. Just when the zombie fell, a faint white light came out of the zombie mountain, and then rushed into Tang Tian's body. What is that? Tang Tian didn't understand what the white light was, and he was puzzled, but he found that he didn't feel any discomfort in his body, so he didn't care about him anymore, because it was not the time when he was distracted, and there were still 3 zombies outside. After the first zombie fell, the head of the second zombie also stuck out from the hole. Tang Tian wiped out the zombie as usual, and the same faint white light emerged from the zombie's body and rushed into Tang Tian's body. At the same time, a grey box emerged from the zombie's body. Since there were 2 other zombies outside the door, Tang Tian didn't dare to go out and pick it up. Roar! The third zombie also stretched its head in from the entrance of the cave. The entrance of the cave was enlarged, and even half of its body was stretched in. Tang Tian was caught off guard by the zombie. Tang Tian immediately took a step back, picked up a wooden stick and smashed it on the zombie's head. After a few moments, the zombie was silent, but it got stuck on the doorway. A white light rushed into Tang Tian's body. At the same time, Tang Tian's eyes were sharp and he found that when the zombie fell, a black ring and a black book fell from his body. Immediately fell down and grabbed the 2 pieces in the first 2 steps. The storage ring contains 100 cubic meters of space, which can help you store anything excluding living things. It is limited to the size of the space regardless of weight. Is it equipped? Equipment. Where did Tang Tian hesitate? When he pronounced the word equipment, the black ring in his hand was automatically placed on his middle finger. When Tang Tian looked at the ring, a white cube of space appeared in his mind. There was nothing empty. When he thought of it, the wooden stick in his hand suddenly appeared in it. When he looked at it again, there was nothing in his hand. There was a trace of the wooden stick. Thinking about it again, the wooden stick appeared in Tang Tian's hands again. Good things, how many things can be put in such a large space? I must not let people know. Tang Tian knew the truth about the innocence of Pif. Looked at the black book in his hand again. Level 5 skills, summon ghost assassins, skill description, consume 20 points of mental power to summon a ghost assassin from to help you fight. The initial level of the ghost assassin is 1, and the 4 basic attributes are 30, 30, 30, and 40 HP 200/200, the cooling time is 1 month. Reminder, you can only learn 2 active skills before you reach level 20. Does you read the book www.youcansha.com. Learning, Tang Tian said without hesitation, joking, in this world where the ghost knows what it is, the more you master the power, the more hope of living. Just when Tang Tian read the 2 words for learning, the black book in his hand suddenly turned into black and rushed into Tang Tian's mind, and finally turned into a special grey gloomy symbol. Touching the symbol in his mind, a special message appeared in Tang Tian's mind, whether to summon a ghost assassin and consume 20 points of mental power. Summon ghost assassin. Tang Tian said subconsciously. After saying this, Tang Tian's mouth suddenly chanted some mysterious spells, and his hands were constantly gesturing with this special gesture, and then a black channel 1 meter high appeared in front of him. Seeing this passage, Tang Tian shivered subconsciously. It was too terrifying and gloomy, as if there were boundless evil spirits roaring inside. At the same time, Tang Tian felt his head sink, dizzy, as if something had been taken away from his mind. He saw that from the passage, a ghost covered in a black cloak slowly came out, full of darkness, full of a smell of death. Finally the passage disappeared, and the ghost assassin stood in front of Tang Tian. Ghost assassin, grade 1 power, 30/30th physique, 30/30th spirit, 30/30th speed, 40/40th talent, invisibility, through walls skill, ghost strike. The ghost assassin stood in front of Tang Tian, took a look at him, then walked behind Tang Tian, turned into a black shadow. It is not easy to find his existence if you don't pay attention to it. Tang Tian counted, there were a total of 18 zombies in the hall. 17 of them were chefs, and only 1 was dressed up as a student. This was only what he saw. There were 2 other kitchens that were not known for the existence of zombies. 18 zombies, it's not easy to do. Go and kill one of them. It will inevitably alarm the others. If you fight, there is a small shadow, so it's a big deal to hide behind him. Evil is born from the guts. Tang Tian quickly rushed towards the nearest zombie with a small shadow. This dining hall covers an area of over 1,000 square meters. 18 zombies are scattered everywhere, and they will not be able to gather together for a while. Roar! Tang Tian approached, and the zombie closest to him immediately noticed it, turned and rushed towards him. Hower, 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 how! The other zombies were alarmed by the sound of this zombie, so they rushed here one after another. Xiaoying, quickly break the legs of this zombie. The matter was urgent, Tang Tian immediately ordered. As soon as Tang Tian's voice fell, the ghost assassin behind him turned into an entity and rushed out, quickly turning around the zombie, swinging the inferior dagger in his hand, and slashing the legs of the zombie in 2 or 3 clicks. Off! The zombies suddenly rushed to the ground. That's it, Tang Tian was overjoyed, and immediately ran up, picking up the stick in his hand and smashing it on the zombie's head. Smashed with a few sticks, the head of the zombie suddenly turned into a rotten watermelon, and it didn't move on the ground. At the same time, a faint white light emerged from the zombie and finally fell into Tang Tian's body. Tang Tian specially observed the attribute panel in his mind, and found that the 60/100 experience bar behind the level had become 80/100. Sure enough, I will be able to level up by killing another one. Xiaoying, cut off the legs of that zombie as well. Tang Tian was overjoyed. Ordered immediately. Obtained Tang Tian's order, the ghost assassin quickly rushed out and cut off the legs of a zombie who had come forward. Tang Tian rushed up immediately, and banged the zombie to death with a few sticks. Suddenly a white light emerged from the zombie's body, and at the same time a black coin fell out. Grabbing the black coin in his hand, the white light also entered Tang Tian's body, and Tang Tian immediately got a prompt sound. Congratulations, after the arduous battle, your level has been improved, and all attributes have been improved. You are currently at level 1, and you are specially rewarded with 5 evolution points. Please choose the direction of strengthening. You can choose various basic attributes to strengthen. Strength 3 points, Physique 2 points. Tang Tian quickly chose the strengthening direction. Just after Tang Tian finished reciting, he immediately felt a magical force enter his body, his strength immediately increased a lot, and his body fatigue was relieved accordingly. A little magic coin. Looking at the black coin in his hand, Tang Tian got a simple reminder. Immediately Tang Tian threw the black coin into the ring. He felt that this thing must be useful in the future. How? Just when Tang Tian was silent in the escalating joy, the other 16 zombies also rushed to the front, in extremely critical form. Xiaoying, retreat! Tang Tian didn't dare to let the ghost assassin fight with 16 zombies. This was his life-saving thing, so he immediately ordered. Tang Tian took the ghost assassin back to the kitchen just now. But as soon as Tang Tian entered the kitchen, 16 zombies immediately surrounded the kitchen. The doors and windows were knocked for fear of noise. This is not the way to go on, they must be eliminated, otherwise these zombies will rush in sooner or later, Tang Tian immediately thought in his mind. So Tang Tian couldn't take care of that much, and quickly pushed the kitchen freezer behind the kitchen door, and opened the door just to allow a zombie to pass through. As soon as the door opened, a zombie rushed in. Tang Tian immediately raised the stick in his hand and smashed it down. He smashed the zombie to the ground with 2 bangs. Tang Tian was delighted. Before upgrading, he needed 3 or 4 sticks to kill a zombie. Now only 2 are needed. A stick will do. With this crack in the door, Tang Tian put the zombies in one by one, and then smashed them one by one with the novice wooden stick in his hand. Tang Tian just asked the ghost assassin to prevent zombies from running in through the window. With the fall of the last zombie, Tang Tian breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, the location of the door was full of zombies. Hehe, this is simply a queer. If you haven't figured out such a method, these 16 zombies will be surrounded together, I am afraid I will be torn in minutes. Tang Tian was so tired that he sat on the ground. Muttered to himself. Ordered Xiaoying to pick up all the things exploded by the 16 zombies. Tang Tian took a rest before starting to check his own harvest. 8 black magic coins, don't know what they are for, Tang Tian put them away immediately. There is also a black skill book, 3 grey treasure boxes and a grey dress. Level 1 skill, basic knife technique, skill description. After learning this skill, you can use any knife weapon proficiently, which will greatly help you improve your strength. This skill is a passive skill, and learning does not occupy the position of active skill. Do you want to learn? Tang Tian chose to study without hesitation. Since he did not occupy the position of active skills, Tang Tian was of course willing to increase his strength. After choosing to study, the first level skill book turned into a black light and turned into Tang Tian's mind. Tian felt that his use of knives seemed to have been practicing for many years. Even though he was holding only a wooden stick in his hand, there were many changes when he swung it, and his power increased a lot. Although there is no knife now, I think there will be some in the future, Tang Tian thought. Then after the 3 grey treasure boxes were opened, 2 of them were empty and there was nothing, and the last one opened a pair of gloves. Inferior gloves, the most basic equipment for novices, Defense 1, Equipment Description, it is only the most basic defense equipment, the purpose is that you will not be infected even if you touch the flesh and blood of a zombie after wearing it. Is it equipped? Was prompted. Yu reading www.yuuganshu.com. Tang Tian immediately chose the equipment, joking, no matter how small a mosquito is, it is a piece of meat. Poor quality clothes, the most basic equipment for novices, defense 2, equipment description, he is only the most basic defense equipment, you can get a slight defense after wearing him, but it is not enough to make you safe. Is it equipped? Looking at the equipment exploded by the zombie in the last sentence, Tang Tian got the prompt, and then chose to equip him without hesitation. Finally, Tang Tian checked his property panel. Name, Tang Tian. Level, 1. Occupation, none. Title, none. Power, 12/10 physique, 12/10 spirit, 10/10 agility, 8/10 skill 1, level 5. Summoning, active skill, can summon a ghost assassin to fight for you, consume 20 mental power, and cool down for 1 month. Skill 2, basic knife skills, passive skills, you can use any knife weapon proficiently, which is of great help to your strength. Pet, none. After reading his attributes, Tang Tian found that there was not much change, but all attributes were automatically increased a bit after the level was increased, and at level 1, his strength was strengthened by 3 points, and his physique was strengthened by 2 points, and then it was the place of skills. There are 2 skills that are currently being learned. In addition, the level of experience increased from 100 to 200, and the experience gained from killing a zombie dropped from 20 to 10, which gave him a sense of urgency, and it will become more and more difficult to upgrade in the future. After taking a rest, Tang Tian stood up again. He had to familiarize himself with the outside situation and what the world had become. The door of the kitchen was completely blocked by the corpses of the zombies, and it was impossible to pass through, so Tang Tian had to turn the window out again. However, the windows at this time had become dilapidated because of the crazy impact of more than a dozen zombies. There were glass everywhere, and it was covered with black liquid and minced meat. Tang Tian guessed that these should be left from the zombies. Came to the hall, because all the zombies had been led away by Tang Tian and wiped out. At this time, they seemed quiet, and the messy scenes looked like they had been ransacked by robbers. It took Tang Tian more than an hour to carefully inspect the entire 3rd floor, and did not find anyone alive. Instead, he encountered 1 or 2 scattered zombies in the other 2 kitchens, and they were easily wiped out by him and the ghost assassin. It turned into an experience of upgrading, but unfortunately, the 2 zombies did not explode. Packed all the things from the 2 kitchens and stuffed them into the storage ring. Tang Tian's storage ring suddenly increased several times. After confirming that there were no more zombies on the 3rd floor, Tang Tian came to the window on the 3rd floor to observe the situation of the entire campus. Tang Tian was shocked when he saw the situation on the campus outside. I saw thousands of people in the campus messing around, and a large group of zombies were chasing after him. The number of zombies was at least tens of thousands. Many people rushed to the ground, and then were bitten by the zombies who came after them, and finally became one of the zombies. Cries and screams resounded throughout the campus, a scene of the end of the world coming. This is only the scene outside the buildings on the campus, and among the teaching buildings, it is even more remarkable. Countless students rushed out of the classroom screaming, but found that the corridor outside the classroom was also full of zombies. In order to escape, these students, teachers, no matter how many floors they are on, they jump downstairs headlessly. Many of these people fell into the group of zombies left behind after falling to death and injuries. Tear to pieces. Such tragic pictures can be seen almost everywhere on campus. This is just the behavior of those students or teachers who are frightened and stupid. A few people are also resisting. They are all together in groups, some holding the same sticks as Tang Tian's hands, and some holding the same sticks as Tang Tian's hands. They were fighting against the zombies with tables, chairs, and benches, but facing a large number of zombies, the lives of these people were in danger of being killed by the zombies at any time. Seeing such a scene, Tang Tian trembled with fright. If he fell into a group of zombies, Tang Tian would not even dare to imagine the end. At the same time, he secretly rejoiced that he stayed in the canteen with the least number of people during class time. Otherwise, he might be the same as those people, either struggling hard, or simply becoming one of the zombies. The end of the world, this is the end of the world. Tang Tian muttered, looking at the devastated campus. Help, who will help me? At this moment, Tang Tian vaguely heard a cry for help, not from the campus, but from the cafeteria. On the second floor. Tang Tian quickly judged the source of the sound based on the sound. And immediately the man ran to the stairs leading to the second floor, but Tang Tian stopped when he arrived at the stairs. Save or not? I don't know how many zombies are downstairs. It would be very dangerous to go on like this. But if you don't save it, would you just watch the people downstairs be killed by the zombies? But what if you close your eyes? Amount. Tang Tian suddenly fell into a dilemma. Let's try to save as much as possible. Looking at the situation outside, it's obvious that I won't be able to get out for a while. Am I stuck here alone? If I'm saved, someone will talk to me. Made up his mind, Tang Tian walked quietly to the second floor. When he descended to the stairway on the second floor, Tang Tian quietly looked towards the second floor, and was immediately startled by the sight in front of him. At least hundreds of zombies were wandering in the lobby on the second floor. Most of them were dressed as students. The chefs also clean things up. You guys, why are you staying in the cafeteria if you don't go to class during class time? This isn't something for me, Tang Tian muttered to himself. The first and second floors of the canteen of Tianshui University have the most people to eat, and the area is at least twice as large as the third floor. Nowadays, students are based on the lazy idea of walking 2 steps less, usually on the first and second floors. I only go to the third floor for dinner when I have a seat. It happened to be class time, and there were almost no people on the third floor, so Tang Tian only encountered a dozen zombies. But the second floor is different. It's close to class, and there are a lot of free spaces here. Many students will choose to eat on the first and second floors at this time, so the end is coming, and there are particularly many zombies here. Help, who will help us? While Tang Tian was observing the second floor, the voice calling for help came from somewhere on the second floor again. This time Tang Tian heard it really, and immediately locked the target on a private room on the second floor. Because the door was full of zombies, and the sound of crying for help came from there, and when Tang Tian listened carefully, he also found that there were faint crying in the other private rooms, but they weren't like the people in that private room. Yelling inside. Isn't this a death hunt? For fear that the zombies don't know that you are inside, Tang Tian had considerable contempt for the yelling person. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. So many zombies, what should I do? Tang Tian thought. He is not afraid of 1 or 2. The main reason is that the ghost assassin is a big killer. 1 or 2 zombies are here to send experience, but there are hundreds of zombies in the entire second floor hall. If they come together, it will take seconds. Tang Tian and his ghost assassin were about to be torn into pieces. In desperation, Tang Tian had to retreat to the third floor, sitting in a chair and working hard to find a way. After serious consideration of all his circumstances, Tang Tian found that because he killed 2 zombies again on the third floor, he was only 20 points away from leveling up. Eyes lit up suddenly, why didn't I get stuck like I was just now? In this way, you can eliminate the zombies downstairs and save people, and you can get experience upgrades. It really kills 2 birds with 1 stone. As he thought of it, Tang Tian immediately moved the seats on the third floor and blocked the stairs, leaving only a passage for 1 person to pass. To ensure that the passage would not be washed away by zombies, Tang Tian moved dozens of tables to block it. Stairs. After this end was blocked, Tang Tian broke his own way to prevent zombies from running up from the other side of the stairs, so he moved dozens of tables to completely seal the other end, but considering that if this side was washed down his own back road was also cut off. When he sealed the corridor, he deliberately left a hole through which a person could pass. Only by opening 2 tables would he be able to pass safely. It took Tang Tian almost an hour to finish this, but his physique was as high as a dead dog and he had to sit in a chair and pant. However, Tang Tian is quite satisfied with the fruits of his labor. After taking a rest, Tang Tian had an idea, and collected a dozen tables into his storage ring. If it was no match for the zombies, he could throw it out and block it. After preparing everything, Tang Tian began to act. As only one person came down to the second floor, Tang Tian observed again and found that most of the zombies on the second floor gathered at the door of the private room where the brains were yelling. Seeing such a situation, Tang Tian said silently in his heart, "I don't know if it is a brother or a beauty, you have to hold on, and you will be saved when I solve these zombies slowly, ah, Buddha." In fact, in a sense, Tang Tian is a typical orphan who is free and lonely as Meng Sao, not seeing others better than him, and at the same time he is very happy to see others in trouble, but he does not show it. Once others provoke him, "I'll go crazy. I don't care what you do. Let the uncle sullen up first." Xiaoying, go to attract strangers. After thinking about it in a mess, Tang Tian ordered the ghost assassin with a shadow behind him. Getting Tang Tian's order, the ghost assassin rushed out and came behind the nearest zombie. A dagger slashed on the zombie's arm, and immediately chopped off the entire arm of the zombie. Roar! The attacked zombies went mad immediately, and chased the ghost assassin with a roar. The cry of this zombie alarmed the other zombies, and dozens of zombies immediately screamed and chased the backing ghost assassin. Retreat! When the ghost assassin came to his side, Tang Tian retreated decisively. Everything was as expected, a large number of zombies were blocked by the seats in the corridor, and only one stumbled upstairs from the passage. But the one who greeted him was reluctant to give up the delicious human flesh, but took a blow. Tang Tian watched the zombie come up. Standing at the entrance of the 3rd floor, he grabbed the novice wooden stick in his hand and slammed it on the zombie's head. When the 2 sticks went down, the zombie's head became rotten watermelon and fell soft to the ground. A faint white light emerged from the zombie, and finally merged into Tang Tian's body. "I got 10 points of experience." Xiaoying cleaned the battlefield and dragged him away. "If something breaks out, you will receive it first," Tang Tian ordered happily. Bang! After the corpse of the zombie on the ground was dragged away by the ghost assassin, Tang Tian released a table from the storage ring and blocked it in front of the only passage at the stairs. Just then the second zombie came up from downstairs. Tang Tian stepped on the table, raised the stick in his hand and slammed it on the zombie's head. Because there was a table in the middle, the zombie's hands could not catch Tang. Heaven, had to let Tang Tian wipe out. A few sticks down, the zombie was smashed to death. Tang Tian gained 10 points of experience again, and Tang Tian also got a hint. Through unremitting battles, your level has increased, and your basic attributes have increased. It is currently level 2, with a special reward of 5 evolution points. Please choose the direction of strengthening. All strengthening power. What Tang Tian needs most is attack power. Strengthening power is undoubtedly the best choice. With the 5 evolution points all being strengthened to strength, and the level increased, Tang Tian suddenly felt that he was suddenly much stronger, especially his strength, which was almost doubled. After the ghost assassin dragged away the corpse of the zombie, another zombie followed him upstairs, and Tang Tian suddenly smashed it down with a stick. Snap! When the stick went down, he immediately smashed the zombie's head. The muddy brain flew everywhere. Tang Tian immediately released a table from the storage ring to block it in front of him, so as to avoid getting on his body. 2. At the same time, Tang Tian was also taken aback by his own strength. He didn't expect to smash the head of a zombie with a stick. After reacting, Tang Tian was overjoyed. The stronger he was, the greater his confidence in survival in this perilous world. Not only that, Tang Tian found that as his level increased, other aspects of his had also been strengthened accordingly. Both his physical reaction ability and the speed of his shots were almost twice as fast as before. These ordinary zombies can no longer pose a threat to him, so he no longer needs the block of the table, so he allows the zombies below to come up from the corridor, and he is busy blasting the head of a zombie. During the period, he paid attention to it, and found that the experience of upgrading again requires 500 points, and now only 5 points of experience can be gained by killing a zombie, which makes his dream of rapid upgrading suddenly shattered. But no matter how small a mosquito is, it is meaty. Although it has a little experience, it gradually accumulates and upgrades sooner or later. Tang Tian has been busy for almost 2 hours, attracting zombies several times, and then killing all the more than 100 zombies on the second floor one by one, and the level has also been smoothly upgraded to level 3. In fact, afterwards, Tang Tian was familiar with the zombies' attack methods, and he didn't get stuck at all. He rushed directly to the zombie group on the second floor to fight, but he was caught off guard by a dozen zombies. Fortunately, the ghost behind him, the assassin, rescued him in time, and this prevented him from being torn into pieces. As a last resort, he had to be honestly stuck. After killing the last zombie, Tang Tian counted his own harvest. The level has been raised to level 3, each of the basic attributes has increased by 1 point again, and there is also an evolution point reward of 5 points. Considering that the current strength is enough to deal with these ordinary zombies, Tang Tian simply strengthened the evolution point by 5 points. Increased 3 points of speed and 2 points of physique. At this time, Tang Tian's attributes became level 3, strength 19/10, physique 16/10, spirit 12/10, and agility 13/10. The other basics remained unchanged. At this time, he has completely surpassed the category of ordinary people, and is basically about the same as a special soldier who has experienced many battles, and even in some aspects, he is still strong. Striding with full strength in one step can reach almost 3 meters, and can swing the novice wooden stick in his hand once in a second, which is much stronger than before, and the number of ordinary zombies cannot pose a threat to him in the case of 2 or 3. In addition, he killed more than 100 zombies, obtained 85 gods and demons, 5 great treasure boxes, and a pair of pants, but nothing else. With the increase in level, these ordinary zombies have been very difficult to explode equipment. Collected the 85 magic coins, Tang Tian opened the 5 great treasure boxes in turn. Reading www. 4 of the yuyuganshu.com are empty, and only one has a skill book. True I, Level 1, Passive Skills, Skill Description. He can let you see the basic information of people or monsters waiting for you to be no higher than your level 5, and learning does not occupy the active skill column. Do you want to learn? Of course, Tang Tian chose to learn. With this skill, I can avoid monsters stronger than myself in the future. After studying, Tang Tian deliberately ran to the window on the 3rd floor and looked at a zombie on the campus. The information he got was, ordinary zombie, level 0, weaker attack. Because humans cannot withstand the transformation of the demon god, they can only attack humans instinctively, and kill him to get a small amount of experience. Getting this skill, Tang Tian is almost happy. With him, safety can be further guaranteed in the future. Then Tang Tian got the information about the pair of trousers in his hand. They were similar to the novice clothes. They had only 2 pitiful defenses. In the spirit of a mosquito, no matter how small it was, Tang Tian equipped it on the spot. In addition, Tang Tian also noticed that it takes 1000 points to upgrade level 4 experience, but killing an ordinary zombie can only get a pitiful 1 point of experience. It is very difficult to upgrade. In addition, Tang Tian pondered for a moment, and took out 1/3 of the contents of the storage ring and put them in several kitchens. After all, the outside world has no idea what it will become. Someone will come sooner or later. Looking for food in the cafeteria, if these people find that there is nothing in the cafeteria, they will definitely be suspicious. If the storage ring is exposed or even stolen, the ability to survive in this unknown world will be greatly reduced. After finishing everything, Tang Tian came to the second floor again, ready to see who is still alive. After more than 100 zombies ransacked on the second floor, it has become messy. There are overturned tables and chairs everywhere, and there are blood stains everywhere on the ground tables and even the ceiling, but at this time these blood stains have turned black. Smelly. Tang Tian guessed that this must be caused by zombies appearing and attacking people who are still alive at the beginning. Tian Shui University, as a first-class university in the country, has tens of thousands of students, plus at least 7 to 80,000 teachers and staff. And there are too many people, because of the different family conditions, the emergence of various classes is inevitable. Take dining as an example. Generally speaking, students from ordinary families will choose to eat in the lobby of the school cafeteria. For families with a little background, they choose to eat in the private rooms in the cafeteria, while students with very strong family backgrounds will not. Instead of having meals in the cafeteria of the school, I would drive myself to learn to eat a big meal in a hotel outside. These are what Tang Tian noticed when he was doing miscellaneous work in the cafeteria. Tang Tian first came to the door of the private room surrounded by zombies, and saw that the door was almost smashed by the zombies, but at any rate this is also a private room for the young ladies of rich people. The quality of the door is still acceptable. So it was not compromised by the zombies, but if Tang Tian didn't eliminate the zombies outside, it would be a matter of time before it was compromised. The reason why Tang Tian wanted to come here first was to see which brain-dead guy he was. He even dared to yell under so many zombies outside. Isn't it too long to live? Bang bang bang, are the people inside still alive? Tang Tian knocked on the door of the private room and asked loudly. Ah! Just after Tang Tian asked, everyone heard the screams in the private room outside. It was obvious that the people inside were frightened by Tang Tian's knock on the door. It's a woman, hey, it's no wonder this brain is disabled, but the girl can't stand the scare, it is understandable. Hearing the scream inside, Tang Tian quickly judged the character of the person inside. After Tang Tian knocked on the door, he didn't knock again. This had to wait for the girl inside to accept it. Sure enough, after a while, Tang Tian heard someone talking inside. Excuse me, are the classmates outside here to save us? How are the monsters? I killed those monsters just to level up, you just went smoothly. Tang Tian said this in his heart, but in order not to hurt the girls' hearts, he said, are you all right? The monsters outside have been wiped out, and you can come out. In fact, in the final analysis, the reason Tang Tian thinks so in his heart is because he once liked a beautiful girl, but people not only refused to accept Tang Tian, but also expressed sarcasm. Tang Tian remembers a particularly clear sentence, if you don't have money, don't learn to make a girlfriend from someone else. Do you want me to pick up the rags with you? This sentence deeply stabbed Tang Tian's heart. Since then, he no longer has such thoughts. He also began to reject girls in his heart, and concentrated on studying and working hard to earn money to support himself. After a while, maybe the people inside felt that the outside was quiet and there was no danger. Then the door of the private room opened a gap and said, is it really safe outside? Tang Tian only saw one beautiful eye, because the gap is too small, he can guarantee that if there is any movement outside, the door in front of him will be closed immediately. Seeing the cautious look of the people inside, Tang Tian wanted to laugh, and secretly said where the yelling energy had gone, so he shrugged easily, believe it or not, anyway, the monsters have all been wiped out, you slowly get busy, I have to go and see how other people are. Said Tang Tian turned around and left, no matter what girl you are, it has nothing to do with me. I said why you are like this. I don't know how to give in to the girl's feelings. Just when Tang Tian turned around and was about to leave, the door of this private room was opened. The girl just saw the truth. It was safe, so he shouted at Tang Tian's back. Why should I accommodate you? Who are you? Tang Tian turned around and said with a funny face. What time is it now? The world has changed, what kind of girl's arrogance is still playing? However, Tang Tian turned around and found out that the girl who came out was quite beautiful, with a well-proportioned figure and a baby face, just like a loli who hadn't grown up. At this time, she was looking at it with wide eyes and bulging eyes. Where's Tang Tian? I saw him pointing at Tang Tian and saying, you are still not a man. If I am a man, you will know if I try it, Tang Tian said sarcastically. You, the pretty girl apparently had never spoken to her like this before, and was overwhelmed by Tang Weather's blushing face pointing at him. Okay Bing Bing, don't get angry with such a person, you have no education at all. At this time, the doors of the private room were all opened, and 3 women, 2 men and 5 people walked out again. All 3 girls were very beautiful. Tang Tian recognized one of them, Shen Yun, who was a recognized school flower of Tian Shui University, but they did not recognize him. Only, the other 2 boys are also handsome, even though they are average, their expensive clothes bear out their extraordinary. Obviously these 6 girls, including the girl named Bing Bing who pointed at Tang Tian, are not ordinary people, but I don't know why these people gather here during class time. But Tang Tian guessed that it was nothing more than love. After the 5 people came out, a beautiful girl with a melon face came to the girl named Bing Bing and said, and she looked arrogant, especially when she saw Tang Tian wearing the work clothes worn by the canteen worker, she dismissed it. But when he saw the stick filled with black liquid in Tang Tian's hand, he subconsciously constrained. Different from this arrogant girl and the baby face who hadn't grown up, the other 4 people started to look at the surrounding situation after they got out of the private room, especially when they saw the mountains of zombies piled up in the corridor. These people were very incomparable. His face was pale, but a thoughtful light flashed through his eyes. I saw one of them with a gentle look, but there was a faintly proud boy in his eyes coming out and saying, "This classmate, my name is Zhang Ling, I am the president of the student union, may I ask what those monsters are? Where did it come from? And, did you make those?" Hearing Zhang Ling's words, Tang Tian suddenly remembered that Zhang Ling's background is not small. His father is a big entrepreneur in this city, with a wealth of hundreds of millions, and he also looks handsome. I don't know how many nymphomaniac girls' dream lovers are. Regarding his words, Tang Tian shrugged and said, "Presumably you have all heard the voice in your mind. I think these things should be zombies. As for those, I just used a little trick, presumably I also know that zombies are slow-moving things, as long as they overcome the fear in their hearts, they are easy to deal with." The conversation between Tang Tian and Zhang Ling attracted the attention of the baby-faced Bing Bing and the proud-looking girl. When they saw the corpses of the zombies at the entrance of the corridor, their faces suddenly turned pale, and they subconsciously stepped back and watched. Tang Tian's eyes were also full of a terrifying taste. Except for the 2 brainless girls, the other 4 people heard Tang Tian's words, and they all started to move. They secretly said that this person can deal with so many horrible things. There must be something extraordinary. Look at Tang. Tian's eyes suddenly changed unpredictably. After listening to Tang Tian's introduction, Zhang Ling smiled and said, "At first I thought he was joking, I didn't take it seriously, but, hee." But what? Everything was in front of him, and he couldn't help but believe it. At this time, only Shen Yun came out and looked at Tang Tian said, "This classmate, my name is Shen Yun, you may have heard of me, may I ask you who? Also, what's going on outside?" Tang Tian, as for what's going on outside, you'll know if you go to the window and have a look. Tang Tian is not good because the school spends a few words and is so fainted, he always said with an indifferent expression on his face. After hearing Tang Tian's words, the people who came out of the private room came to the window on the 2nd floor with suspicion and looked into the campus. When they saw the tragic picture on the campus, they all turned pale and trembling. Especially the two girls who were arrogant just now were so scared that they sat on the ground. Obviously they were totally unpredictable, the whole campus became like this. There are wandering zombies everywhere, because after so long, those who can survive have found a hiding place, and only a few people are still running for their lives, but sooner or later they will be killed by the zombies if they rush out like this. Especially when these people saw a student who fell and was surrounded by zombies catching up from behind, swallowing them, they were even more frightened and vomiting. Let's see it, it's like that outside. I didn't dare to imagine it when I first saw it, but this is the truth, Tang Tian said when he came to these people. A rich young master like Zhang Ling obviously has never seen such a picture at all. Even though he is so calm, Liashan Wazu is scared at this moment and eagerly asked, Tang Tian classmate, what are your plans next? How can you clean up the zombies in the canteen as soon as possible? At least there is food here, enough to live for a while, and also to understand the situation outside. It is impossible that the outside school becomes like this. It is impossible for the outside world to know it. Then there is only one explanation. The outside has become like this, even more terrifying than the campus. Think about it, if the entire population of 8 million in Tian Shui City has become such a monster, hee. Tang Tian didn't say anything. I don't believe it, how could it become like this? At this moment, the proud girl stood up from the ground and immediately took out her mobile phone and started making a call. Seeing his actions, Tang Tian sneered, it's useless, why did you go earlier? I tried it a long time ago. The phone can no longer be made. Maybe the communication system has been destroyed. Sure enough, after hearing what Tang Tian said, several other people took out their mobile phones to try to connect to the outside, but without exception, either they couldn't get through or there was no signal at all. After getting this result, several people sat down in despair. Where is the army? The police? We will definitely come, yes, we will, the arrogant girl still didn't believe it. For such a person, Tang Tian simply doesn't bother about it. Where are you going? Seeing Tang Tian turning around, Shen Yun asked subconsciously, with the calm face of schoolgirl. It was obvious that in this perilous world, the mysterious and powerful Tang Tian had become their support for survival. Tang Tian said without turning his head, I'm going to see how many people are still alive on the entire second floor. In addition, I have to carefully check whether there are zombies hidden in the dark. Do you want to help? Help? Hearing Tang Tian's words, several people took 2 steps back subconsciously, but then they all looked at each other and smiled embarrassedly, but no one moved. Tang Tian obviously had expected such a result a long time ago, and he went straight to the other private rooms without even looking behind him. For these young masters and young ladies, how could it be possible to commit danger with their bodies? Regarding his own efforts to make these people safe, Tang Tian didn't have the kind of idea of being a beater for others, because it was related to his own safety, so he went away. After these people realized the cruelty of this world, it was too late to regret it. Because Tang Tian has always remembered that these zombies will evolve. Once they start to evolve, these people will miss the best time to upgrade, and it will be difficult for them to be strong at that time. Roar! Tang Tian just opened the door of the first private room, he rushed out a zombie, opened his mouth and rushed towards Tang Tian. The few people who looked at Tang Tian from afar, especially the girls, were scared and screamed on the spot. Tang Tian didn't panic. Now he really thought that ordinary zombies could no longer be a threat to him. He quickly stepped back, raised the stick in his hand and hit the zombie's head. Snap! Without a doubt, with the power of Tang Tian now, with the stick down, the head of this zombie shattered into rotten watermelon on the spot. An almost invisible faint white light emerged from the zombie, and finally entered Tang Tian's body. His experience rose by 1 point. Hey? What is that? Tang Tian's eyes were sharp, and at the same time he saw the zombie fall down, a long strip fell out of his body. After took it in his hand, Tang Tian realized that it was a knife inserted in the scabbard, and it was 1 meter long. Jinyue saber, a general knife, its sharpness is enough to let you easily cut the bones of monsters. Looking at the knife in his hand, Tang Tian got a hint in his mind. Tang Tian was very happy. At this stage, he was only short of a weapon that he could do well, and the novice wooden stick was no longer able to effectively display his strength. After pulling out the knife, Tang Tian saw that the blade was sharp and bright, with a straight back, which was also good for slashing. The blade was wide and narrow, and the handle was only 3 centimeters away, but the tip of the knife reached 5 centimeters. Holding this knife, Tang Tian remembered a movie that was called Jin Yi by Yu Yu, reading www.yuyuganshu.com. The style of this knife was almost exactly the same as Jin Yi's saber inside, which was exactly what Tang Tian liked. With this imitation Jin Yi saber, the novice wooden stick in his hand can of course be thrown away. I tried to wave it a few times, perhaps because I learned the first level basic knife technique. This knife is almost in Tang Tian's hands. Handy, the strength is a bit stronger. However, the following things proceeded quite smoothly. There were a total of 10 or 20 private rooms on the second floor, all of which were collected. In addition to the first zombie, only 3 zombies were found. Tang Tian was very relaxed. Get rid of. The other is the kitchen. Tang Tian searched the 3 kitchens one by one. Apart from being messed up, no zombies were found. Tang Tian guessed that all of them might have run out at the beginning. In addition, all the living people on the second floor went out of the private room after Tang Tian's search was completed. Including the previous 6 people, there were only 16 living people on the second floor, and one of them was a school teacher. While looking for the kitchen, because no one dared to follow, Tang Tian quietly collected part of the food in the kitchen, and no one noticed Tang Tian's little action. This world doesn't know when it will end. It's always okay to find more things that can make you survive. When Tang Tian came out of the last kitchen against the imitation Jin Yi saber, he found that more than a dozen people had gathered in the dining hall, and the middle-aged bald and big-bellied teacher was saying something impassioned. Tang Tian knew the teacher, a leader of the school, and probably knew what he was holding. Tang Tian simply sat aside and took out an apple he got in the kitchen while listening to the teacher. Students, I think everyone already knows that this world does not know why it has changed. This is a disaster. We are in danger of being killed by those monsters outside at any time, so we must unite to get through together. Difficulties, we must arrange the division of labor in a unified way, while protecting ourselves and taking into account the safety of others, so that we have the hope of survival. We must know that facing the monsters outside, there is no hope of survival at all, so everyone must unite. Such a bald teacher said impassionedly, with a righteous look. Tang Tian sneered while listening, remembering that when this teacher rescued him from the private room, that fellow crawled around. If it wasn't because Tang Tian still had to look for other places, which was dangerous, this teacher almost climbed onto Tang Tian. Although this teacher is for his own safety, and to unite everyone is just to make himself safer, Tang Tian has to admit that this highly educated person is different, and he refuses to mention himself, but is a kind of hard work for everyone. The look of labor. Tang Tian also understands that, after all, the world outside is almost full of zombies. It is not easy to have this safe place. Although there are less than a dozen people, if you get the leadership, you don't need to say that your own safety is obtained. With a certain guarantee, you can also get corresponding benefits in other aspects, such as food. As a school teacher, this bald middle-aged man has a good grasp of everyone's psychology. At this time, everyone is upset and said a few words, so that everyone has found the backbone. Indirectly, listening to his command, this teacher can be said to be very deliberate. Now we are temporarily safe. Thanks to classmate Tang Tian. He created a relatively safe environment for us with a fearless spirit. Such a person is worth learning for all of us. At this moment, the teacher saw Tang on the side. God, smiled and nodded, as if he was affirming Tang Tian, saying anything above. Tang Tian is very clear about this kind of heartwarming bridge. He will not praise himself because of this teacher, just how noble the task is, and then stand up awe-inspiringly to block all dangers in front of him. He doesn't have such a high level of consciousness, so he doesn't care about the teacher's words at all. He just nodded with a smile as an answer. Student Tang Tian is the bravest and the most powerful among us. We fight with these zombies alone. Then, please let Tang Tian say a few words to us, so that you can have a comprehensive understanding of the zombies, so that everyone can learn more about them in the future. When facing zombies, you can effectively fight. Tang Tian, don't hide privates, the bald teacher said to Tang Tian with a smile. People who don't know thought it was the teacher who valued him the most and asked him to give a speech. At the same time, the teacher's words also made everyone look at Tang Tian. Tang Tian threw away the apple core in his hand, stood up with a smile, and said, "It's easy to say, everyone must have heard the voice in your mind? You can think of this as a game. The monsters outside are the ones in the game. Weird, you can upgrade if you are killed. It's as simple as that. Of course, the difference is that our game is really dead when it's dead, but it won't be resurrected." Tang Tian said it simply. Hearing what he said, some people were thoughtful, some people's eyes were bright, but some people jumped out to object. This person is the beautiful girl with a proud face. Student Tang Tian, those zombies are so terrifying, how do you tell us to fight against them? And, as girls, can we be protected by your boys? Especially student Tang Tian, among us, you are the only one who is the strongest. I think, can our safety be in your hands? Yes, there is no problem at all. After the girl finished speaking, Tang Tian immediately stood up and said. Everyone was stunned when they heard Tang Tian's answer so straightforwardly, but then they reacted. He was perfunctory to everyone, but everyone said that, so it's not good to say something. Seeing that everyone was silent, Tang Tian said again, if you want to live, relying on the protection of others is only temporary. Only when you are truly strong can you live safely. These zombies are not difficult to deal with, they just look terrifying. A little bit, only you can overcome the fear in your heart. With the slow movements of the zombies, you can completely deal with it. Hearing Tang Tian's words, among these people, a few tall boys are a little eager to try. Tang Tian saw the appearance of these people, and then he said again, I will give you a reminder, these zombies are the lowest level, they are easy to deal with, and it is also the best time for you to upgrade. You have also been reminded that these zombies will all evolve. If you miss the present, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow, it will not be so easy to deal with these zombies. After talking about Tang Tian, he sat down on his own. He didn't know how long he could live. What about the beautiful women? Beautiful women can be eaten. In this world, beautiful women are just decorations, and it is enough to give them tips. As for what they want, Tang Tian doesn't care. Tang Tian stopped talking. At this moment, the bald teacher came out and said, okay, I would like to think of classmate Tang Tian's reminder, but it also depends on the actual situation. For example, these girls are naturally weak, so we should do more. If you take care of it a little, boys should have the responsibility of boys. After a pause, he continued, then let's talk about dealing with zombies. It's not too early for you reading www.yunsha.com. I think everyone is hungry. It just happens to be the cafeteria. Does any student know how to do it? Food? But you can cook some food for everyone, so that everyone has the strength to do other things. Hearing what he said, Tang Tian looked at his mobile phone and realized that it was 7 o'clock in the evening unknowingly. The weather in early autumn was not very dark. After such a long period of fear, everyone realized that it was hungry. Hearing the words of teacher Balding, the 6 people rescued by Tang Tian at first, including Shen Yun, all looked embarrassed. They stood aside and didn't speak. They obviously couldn't cook anymore. Everyone, look at me and I will look at you. In the end, a shy girl with glasses stood up and volunteered to cook for everyone. This girl was dressed in ordinary clothes and was obviously not a child of a rich family. In addition, a sunny-looking boy came out to beckon to help. According to Tang Tian's observation, the 2 of them wore eyebrows secretly, obviously they were lovers. After the cooking problem is solved, the next step is the safety problem. Under the leadership of this teacher, everyone has a clear division of labor. Girls all go to fetch water to clean the hall. After all, no one will feel comfortable seeing the black liquid everywhere. A few beautiful girls looked impatient, and they were obviously reluctant to do such a thing, but under everyone's attention, they had to pretend that they were reluctant. The boy is responsible for cleaning, while the boy is to separate 2 people to pay attention to the surrounding movement. The rest will move the tables, chairs, and benches to block the corridor leading downstairs. After all, no one wants to suddenly rush downstairs to a group of people. Zombie. After everything was done, after a meal that was not very delicious, the night fell. When night fell, the entire campus was no longer the hustle and bustle of the past, but it looked lifeless, with the roar of zombies everywhere, and occasionally 1 or 2 screams and crying that did not know where it was hidden. But fortunately, even though the world has changed, the electricity has not been interrupted temporarily. The lights on the campus are all turned on, and they have not fallen into darkness. At 8:30 in the evening, the 2nd floor of the student cafeteria of Tian Shui University. At this time, all 17 people, including Tang Tian, were in a private room on the 2nd floor. Moreover, in such a short period of time, these people vaguely divided into small groups. Headed by Mr. Wang, including Mr. Wang, that is, the bald teacher, there are 6 people, 3 students from the physical education department of the school, and the couple who cooked for everyone before. There are also 5 people headed by Zhang Ling. One of them is a boy among the 6 people rescued by Tang Tian, named Wang Chao, who is Zhang Ling's hardcore, as if his dad is Zhang Ling's subordinate. The other are 2 ordinary-looking male students from poor family backgrounds and the girl with a haughty face before. Tang Tian later learned her name by Tang Tian, who was called Zhang Mei. The rest are 5 people headed by Shen Yun. The baby-faced girl named Bing Bing looked forward to her horse's head, and there were 2 other beautiful girls that Tang Tian first rescued, one named Lu Xi and the other named Lu Bai. A pair of sisters and a tall male student, according to Tang Tian's observation, should be Shen Yun's admirer. In addition to Tang Tian, the 16 people here were divided into 3 small groups. The bald teacher Wang watched Shen Yun and others from time to time. Tang Tian found that they had a kind of ill-intentioned light, but it was fleeting. Zhang Ling looked at both sides from time to time, thoughtfully, but most of his eyes looked at Tang Tian, not knowing what he was thinking. The girls headed by Shen Yun watched everyone here from time to time. Obviously they couldn't believe these people. After all, they have no fighting power at all. Once these people have a bad heart against them, they really don't. Method. Moreover, Shen Yun's gaze was the same as Zhang Ling's, and she looked at Tang Tian from time to time. Tang Tian could see the small movements of these people, and he didn't say anything about it. After all, everyone wants to survive in this chaotic world. It is inevitable to form such small groups, but he didn't expect it to be so fast. Tang Tian was the most relaxed one, sitting on the side and taking a nap, completely indifferent to these people. Perhaps Tang Tian was used to being lonely since he was a child. In short, it is difficult for him to integrate into these people. Tang Tian is very relieved about his safety. Not to mention his current strength that surpasses ordinary people in one blow, the ghost assassin hiding behind him is enough to give him a rest at ease. 17 people gathered in a private room. It was a bit crowded. At the same time, everyone did not speak. The atmosphere seemed a little dull. Tang Tian didn't like the feeling, so he yawned, stood up and laughed. You guys talk slowly, I go out and have a look. Where are you going? Shen Yun asked subconsciously when she saw Tang Tian going out of the private room. And everyone else looked at Tang Tian. After all, Tang Tian's strength is the greatest here. His presence makes these people feel safe, and subconsciously regards him as the backbone, just subconsciously relying on it. It's not that these people will submit to him. Tang Tian shrugged and said helplessly, after holding back for a day, I just go to the bathroom. It's okay, you talk slowly, I will find a private room to sleep later, so I won't disturb you anymore. Tang Tian opened the private room door and walked out, closing the private room door from the outside. After Tang Tian left, the atmosphere in the private room became complicated again. These people look at me and I look at you. Obviously they are thinking about something in their hearts. In the end, the oldest teacher Wang broke the tranquility. Don't be like this, students, let the atmosphere be more active. After all, we all survived. This proves that our luck is still very good. I believe this kind of luck will always be with us. Obviously Fatty Wang's words didn't have any effect. Everyone was still silent, and Fatty Wang had to smile brightly. In the end, Zhang Ling broke the silence and just listened to him. Okay, don't do that. When Tang Tian was here just now, there was something hard to say. Now that he is out, I will pick out the words clearly. I think everyone is in harmony. In my mind, this Tang Tian is the strongest among us. It can kill more than 100 zombies alone. Don't say that we can do it, but we may not have the courage to face a zombie, so I want to say the thing is, Tang Tian's existence is a threat to us, but we currently have to rely on him to survive. How should we get along with him? I think we should get along with him friendly. Reading www.yuyuganshu.com. After all, he saved all of us, and do we have a choice now? When necessary, sacrifice is fine, after all, no one wants to die. As soon as Zhang Ling finished speaking, Shen Yun said helplessly. When she talked about sacrifice, she looked bitterly at the faces of several beautiful girls around her. Her words are self-evident, especially when Fatty Wang heard her words. The evil light of desire flashed in his eyes, but no one noticed it, and when Zhang Ling looked at Shen Yun, his eyes were also there was a glimmer of gloom. The world has changed, various dark sides in people's hearts are also growing invisibly, and various negative emotions have begun to show up. It's just because the change happened not long ago, and the performance of these people is not so blatant and unscrupulous. Shen Yun is a smart girl. She obviously felt that the eyes of these people, especially men, were wrong when they looked at her. So she stood up and said, everyone should rest early. It's late. Let's find a clean one. Fortunately, it's the early autumn weather. It's not very cold at night, otherwise it's troublesome at night. Without waiting for them to say anything, Shen Yun took the other 3 girls and opened the door of the private room and left. Of course, the boy stayed behind. After all, it is impossible for a few girls to take him on rest. I think 80% of this classmate Shen Yun fell in love with Tang Tian, hee. After Shen Yun left, Wang Fatty sneered. Seeing Shen Yun's departure, Zhang Ling's eyes flashed with a gloomy coldness, and he sneered in his heart, I usually pretend to be noble in front of me, but now I see that people are strong. I want you to look good. After Shen Yun left, a group of men sat there with their own minds. After Tang Tian walked out of the private room, he came to the outside hall. The hall had been cleaned up, but it was only a small area, and a large area near the entrance of the corridor was still a mess. After all, there are hundreds of zombies piled up there, and those girls dare not approach them. Tang Tian came to the window, looked at the gloomy campus, and listened to the roar hidden in the darkness and the faint cry of crying, with mixed feelings in his heart. Who would have thought that this world would become like this in a short period of time? Who would have thought that I, who was struggling with life a long time ago, have nothing to do now? And where are you going tomorrow? What to do? Tang Tian didn't know this, he seemed a little confused at this time. I don't know where to go in this chaotic world. If the world hasn't changed, he might study hard, then find a job with a low salary after graduation, then marry a wife and have children, buy a house and become a house slave for a lifetime, just like this for a lifetime. But now all this has changed, become unknown, become confused. Squeak! Just when Tang Tian looked out the window in a daze, a cry of something came from the darkness. Hearing this voice, Tang Tian quickly put away his mood. Now is not the time to sigh, there will be danger at any time. I don't know how many deadly threats exist in the darkness. Following the source of the sound, Tang Tian fumbled in this and that direction. He had to figure out what it was, otherwise he would not feel at ease when he sleeps at night. After all, in this strange world, everything can happen. The squeaking sound has never been cut off. Tang Tian followed all the way, and finally found that the entire sound was coming from the kitchen. This puzzled him. He had already been looking for it during the day. The entire second floor was already there. There is nothing dangerous anymore. Relying on the daring of Yi Gao, Tang Tian quickly approached the door of the kitchen. Squeak! Bang! Just as Tang Tian approached the door of the kitchen, suddenly there was a creaking sound in the kitchen, and a black shadow instantly broke through the wooden door of the kitchen and rushed towards Tang Tian. Tang Tian had already been wary in his heart, and when this shadow broke through the wooden door, he dodged aside and avoided it. Under the light of the canteen, Tang Tian could see clearly what it was. A huge mouse. The body is nearly 1 meter long, and the tail has reached 2 meters away. Hiss! Tang Tian took a breath. When did the mouse become so huge? The true eye skill was quickly activated, and Tang Tian also got the mouse's information. Mutated rat, level 2, has a strong aggressiveness and is good at hiding in the dark. Is actually a level 2 monster, no wonder the speed is so fast. After receiving the mouse's message, Tang Tian sighed in his heart, and at the same time, his heart was full of crisis. After only half a day, level 2 monsters had already appeared, so what would happen if it took longer? It was too late to think about it. When the mutant mouse pounced on Tang Tian for the second time, Tang Tian stepped aside again, and at the same time drew out the imitation Jinyi Wei saber he carried with him. When the mutant mouse and Tang Tian passed by, the knife in Tang Tian's hand slashed on the mutant mouse's back. Tearing! Tang Tian's knife didn't cut the mutant mouse to death, but only cut a hole in the mutant mouse. Squeak! Obviously this knife angered the mutant mouse, and when it hit the ground, the mutant mouse quickly twisted its body and rushed towards Tang Tian again. Xiaoying, help! Tang Tian quickly shouted. Just when Tang Tian's words fell, the ghost assassin who had been hiding in the dark appeared behind the mutant mouse like a black shadow. The grey dagger in his hand stabbed out like a poisonous snake, and it pierced into the mutant mouse's back with a single blow. To the root of the dagger. Your summoned beast ghost assassin hit a ghost blow, Tang Tian got such a prompt. Before he could think about it, Tang Tian quickly slammed into the mutant mouse's open mouth with all his strength at the moment when the mutant mouse was attacked. The 1-meter-long blade almost pierced in, and finally pierced out of the back of the mutant mouse's head. Kill the ordinary level 2 mutant mice, Tang Tian succeeded with a single blow, and got a hint in his mind. Bang! Drew out the long knife, the mutant mouse fell softly to the ground, and at the same time a cloud of white light emerged from the mutant mouse's body, and finally passed into Tang Tian's body. And a few black magic coins fell from the body of the mutant mouse, nothing else. Tang Tian put away the magic coins, 1 for 4, and at the same time paying attention to his experience value, he found that it had risen by a full 50 points. After the mutant mouse was eliminated, Tang Tian felt terrified. This mutant mouse was too fast. If it weren't for the help of the ghost assassin, he would be seriously injured even if he could kill the mutant mouse in the end. If 2 came, he would only be dead. And... okay? At this moment, Tang Tian found out that the ghost assassin who would hide in the dark after every battle did not do that. Instead, he came to the corpse of the mutant mouse and stretched out his hand like a chicken paw. With a move on his head, a cloud of black light completely different from the white light of experience emerged from the mutated mouse's head, and finally merged into the body of the ghost assassin. Don't know what happened, Tang Tian glanced at the ghost assassin's attributes and found that there had been no movement from the attribute panel prompt. At this moment, the ghost assassin's experience value increased by 50 points. Tang Tian immediately understood that this ghost assassin was summoned from hell, and could not be upgraded like himself, but only by absorbing the soul-like things of these living animals. The zombies killed before are strictly counted as dead humans, so the ghost assassins have not gained experience. Tang Tian, who had figured out all this, quickly left the kitchen. He didn't want to rush out a group of mutant mice from it again, because that would be too much for him. What happened? Just when Tang Tian came to the door of the previous private room, Zhang Ling asked. Just made such a movement, these people were all disturbed. Tang Tian just arrived here, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. They quickly surrounded them and asked. It's nothing, just killed a 2-meter-long mouse. It's over there. If you're interested, you can go and take a look. But I advise you to hurry up and not come out of the private room, because not only humans have become with zombies, even animals are mutating. The mouse just now is the best example, Tang Tian said solemnly. Hearing Tang Tian's words, all these people had their faces moved, but none of them ran to look at the corpse of the mutant mouse. Instead, they turned around and entered the private room, locking the door firmly. Tang Tian didn't care about them, he walked into a private room and closed the door ready to rest. After a day of exhaustion, he felt exhausted physically and mentally, and he didn't dare to walk around without knowing how much danger was hidden in the darkness. Was lying on the sofa in the private room, and couldn't sleep under the distraction. At 12 o'clock in a daze, he was awakened by a reminder in his head, and his face suddenly turned pale. Stupid humans, don't you feel exciting? This game is fun? Congratulations to those bravely fighting, you all got the corresponding benefits? But don't be proud of you, I tell you, this is just the beginning, that's all. Those stupid humans who cringe, because of your fear, missed an opportunity. Tomorrow, you will find that because of your stupidity, it will be more difficult to survive. Ha ha ha, struggle, stupid humans, the real transformation of gods and demons begins, and you will find tomorrow that the world has completely changed. The countdown, 04:59:059. After receiving this reminder, Tang Tian once again felt that time had become still, and then his eyes went dark and he lost consciousness. After this night, the world has changed drastically.